This is such a big thing, right?
Thank you.
Come on, Jim. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. Fantastic. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for-
I wanted to be kind of business-like.
Can I see the other girl?
Hello and welcome to Qatar's first sports podcast, In the Game. I'm your host, Steve Mackey, and we can't wait to introduce you to everything that is sports here in Qatar and afar. We're going to be bringing you personalities, company owners, institutions, individuals that are making a real difference. So, with us, enjoy the journey.
It's fun, man. Sports is fun.
Everyone, thank you for listening. Please send us your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And don't forget to review us on your favorite podcast app. Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. It's a fantastic day today. We're interviewing cohorts from Qatar Sports Tech. And my word, are there some special ones. And this is no exception. So today we have Alejandro and we have Lorenzo, and they're going to tell us everything about their application, and they're going to tell us much more. They're going to tell us our stories. So let's start with you, Alejandro. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Steve. It's an honor to be here. So my name is Alejandro. I'm 27. I am Venezuelan, as all the founders of the startup. I am a mechanical engineer, and I have always been an entrepreneur in Venezuela. We as a founders have several business in Venezuela running, thankfully. So this is a new venture that came out in the pandemic. So yeah, the experiment that we decided to do has been well. So we are in the QST, and yeah, I always has been an entrepreneur, and I love to building stuff, solving problems in the real life. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Lorenzo, yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Lorenzo. I'm also from Caracas, Venezuela. I'm 30 years old, and I'm an electronic engineer and computer scientist. And I've been working with Alejandro for about 3 years. We actually met in college because he studied mechanical engineer. I studied electronic engineer, but in the same university. So we studied math together, like physics and that kind of stuff in the early stages of the career. And then after that, we were trying to figure out for a long time, hey, in which way we can work together. And about 3 years ago, we started working together in some companies. Right now, we're business partners along with the other founders in other companies in Venezuela. We've been very successful. And this was an idea that came out last year by Alejandro and his brother, and we didn't have the time to implement it until this year in the pandemic. And so just when the pandemic started, we decided to work on this, and here we are. So yeah.
Pandemic is tore people to pieces, right? It's been a tough time, but you've taken advantage of it and pushed forward, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the pandemic gave us an opportunity to enter the market, but we think that even though there is not a pandemic, there is a big opportunity to enter in the market with a solution with the fan engagement as we are proposing right now. But the pandemic, it definitely helped to make it even bigger and even more needed, our solution in the market, the sport market.
There's sometimes, because I'm exactly the same. I've taken advantage of this pandemic. It's one of those things that I'm not going to let it try to affect me, but it does, obviously. But sometimes I feel guilty that I'm saying that I've taken advantage. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I don't feel like that. I mean, I know the pandemic has torn many people's lives, and that's true around the world, even people that we know. However, every crisis means opportunity, and as entrepreneurs, I believe it's actually our duty to create solutions in the middle of crises, because they will end up helping other people. So everyone who has the chance to take the advantage to improve their lives and then improve the lives of others as a consequence, even during a crisis, is something that is worthwhile considering.
And we haven't, and I'm not coming to your application yet, and you're going, come on, when are we going to talk about it? How important is it, because of we're talking on these lines, how important is it to have a good team? It sounds like you've got a fantastic team there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is one of the, if not one of the most, it is the most important thing. You have to be a very cohesive team. You have to be friends. You have to know that even if you have fights and discussions, like once the fight ends, the journey has to, and the movie has to go on. So you have to have a team with different skills in marketing, in technology, in talking to people. So yeah, I think it's one of the most important things. And I don't know if Lorenzo can add something on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How important is it? Because a lot of people don't try to bring people into their team because they feel that they're giving too much away.
Yeah, I mean, in our case, we've been working together for a while. For a couple of years now, we have found a very cohesive, we're a very cohesive group of people because each of us complements the weaknesses of the others. And so right now we're at a point in which we trust each other that whatever you're working on, you're gonna fix it, you're gonna solve it. I trust you to do it, and you're gonna work your out in solving that. So in terms of technology, in terms of marketing, research, legal, financial. And so we fight a lot. We actually are all very passionate. And even though each one of us is in a specific, specialty, we all like to do the top level stuff, like strategy and stuff. And so we fight a lot about that. But after we fight that, it's always the facts that prevail. And whichever facts are brought up to the surface during the discussions are the ones that we go for. And then everyone starts focusing on their own lanes and on their own specialties. And then we work together. So
Sounds brilliant. Sounds brilliant. And now I'm doing a drum roll. Fancision. Who wants to take the stage here? Who wants to tell us about it?
Lorenzo can take it. Go ahead, Lorenzo.
All right. So Fancision, as I mentioned, is a concept, an idea that Alejandro and his brother came up with last year that they went to Europe. We're all huge soccer fans, football fans, and sports fans in general. And they came up with this idea, it would be nice if we could, vote on decisions of your teams and be more engaged in everything, And I was like, yeah, you guys are right. Like right now, being a football fan or a sports fan in general feels like being in a long distance relationship. So that's the thing that we felt, and that's the thing that we use in order to say, how can we bridge this gap? How can we make this more fun? And so that's where Fancision comes in. So Fancision is a platform, it's an application that allows people to connect better with their teams by allowing fans to have an opinion, to vote, and also fans can play trivia, mini games. They can do all kinds of activities, predictions, and things that actually let them show their knowledge, show how much they know about their team, compete with other fans, prove that they're a better fan, quote unquote, and earn points and awesome rewards as a consequence. So it's an application that bridges the gap between teams and players, that helps teams make extra revenue or helps clubs make extra revenue because of this gap that they're not taking advantage of. So that's a little bit about what Fancision is. And
that's a great base for any application, especially with your own football team, because you all want to talk to you. You've got your member, like this podcast. It's all about the story, right? So and that's like a bit like your app. It's about the story. It's about stories of supporting a team. I was only talking with somebody this morning, and I was saying I can remember the time when I couldn't have been no more than 5 or 6, but I can still remember standing behind the railings watching my team run out onto the pitch, and these type of apps are kind of sharing those. You're able to share those moments. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And also we solve a problem that football clubs have right now, that most of the team application, for those teams that do have an application, the application just shows results, the lineups, and some kind of news. But unfortunately, if me as a fan can watch that information, I just look on Google, on Twitter. So I don't need the application from the clubs to watch that information. So the clubs needs to provide a different way to engage with their fans, because the actual digital asset that they have are already used by the fans with Google and Twitter. So they need to improve that kind of stuff, and that's why we are building in Fancision.
I really like the concept and the idea, because more and more people, like if I say to people now, how do you watch TV? And they say, well, I don't watch TV in the conventional way. It's all on the phone now. Everything is done on the phone. So if you've got an application that you can interact and you with like-minded people from all over the world. Let's face it. Let's go to this. Where are you now? You're in Venezuela. It's like, it's incredible, the technology nowadays, and let's take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because right now we are like distributed around the world. I'm in Spain. Lorenzo, for example, is in New York, but like almost all the team is in Venezuela. So we are distributed between Spain, Venezuela, the US. So we're working together in a remote way, and in that way we can bring that to Fancision to connect fans around the world, like we are connected working as a team.
How far have you got with the app so far? Because it's 6 months, right? So how far have you got?
Yeah, so initially we released a web application that was 4 months ago. We did our MVP or pilot testing with that. And since about 2 months ago, we started developing the native applications, and they're almost ready. We're going to launch this week the open beta for the public, and it's going to be great. We've been talking with different teams. The app is very fluid, and everything is coming up pretty nicely. So we're very excited.
And can you tell us about any teams that you're in talks with at the moment and its potential?
We are in talks with teams in Spain, mostly in second division and second division B, because they are interesting market, because there are markets that are not being taken account by our competitors. So we are getting to that hole and that gap that the competitors are not getting. And also we are talking with teams in Venezuela. Unfortunately, I can't talk about specific names because we haven't signed up the specific contract, but we have closed deals with 2 teams, and there are 3 more that are interested. And there is a big team in Spain, which is in second division B, is in a third division, but it's a team that play UEFA, the UEFA tournament, the UEFA Cup in the past. So they are a big team, and hopefully we can announce that we have the deal closed this month, hopefully. So sorry if I can't say the specific name.
Don't worry, but that's an incredible achievement, because if you've only been going for relatively such a short space of time, and you're already getting people believing in your product and launching with them.
We are very excited about it, because just the commercial onboarding started last week, like 8 days ago. And in 8 days, we closed 2 deals. So what could happen in the next 2 to 3 months when we launch the application, when we show the traction, when we show the benefits that we can bring to the clubs? We hope that many teams, big teams, maybe for the first division from La Liga, on board to Fancision. So we hope to grow a lot. I don't know if this year, but in January to February, we hope to grow a lot and very fast, very quickly.
What's been your biggest challenges?
Yeah, well, right now, talking to the specific person in the clubs, it is a challenge that we're facing right now, because, you know, we are from Venezuela. We don't know so many people in Spain. We are getting to know people and to make the networking work. So getting to know it in the commercial side to the right person. Hey, the decision maker, I want to talk to the decision maker and shoot my pitch. Because if I got the specific person, like I got 5 meetings last week and we got 2 deals closed. So it is a high percentage of, and it is a very effective the way, but first I had to talk to the specific person. So in that is the specific challenge that we're facing in the commercial side. I don't know if Lorenzo, you can talk about the technological side. The biggest
no, I think that's the biggest challenge. I mean, in terms of technology, we face many bugs and stuff, and those are things that we tackle on. But I completely agree with Alejandro, and he's working hard, you know, scraping the internet, finding those contacts and getting those people to talk to us. So I'm very happy.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, it works very well, and I got one of the deals closed because of LinkedIn, because I contacted the person on LinkedIn and it worked very well. So we're finding out the ways. Yeah, we're finding out the ways.
I love it. Congratulations. It's kind of, and so with upscaling. So what if you got all of a sudden you got 50 clubs that wanted to, is that going to be a problem for you?
Yeah, Lorenzo.
I would be, I mean, if we would get 50 clubs right now, it would be what we call a happy problem. I mean, we love facing challenges, and those things for us are opportunities. So it's no surprise for us to, you know, in our history working together to close some big deal or get some great stuff coming onto us that we are, so to say, at the moment, not fully prepared to, but we just gear up the engines and, you know, hire more people and strategize, work 24/7 and solve it. So we're very eager for that to happen, and hopefully it will. We'll be ready for it.
Lovely answer, Lorenzo. Lovely answer. Brilliant answer.
Good one.
Yeah. So when did you start? Not pitching. When did you apply for QST?
Yeah, we applied on QST on April, I guess, obviously this year. The idea started on February to work on the idea. 2 months later, on April, we applied. Then we started, we had an interview with Heva and Joe Mana. And then we went on September the 3rd on the selection day, where we pitched to the people from Qatar, from the Qatar Development Bank, and many partners. So yeah, luckily, I guess, we got selected. So we are very grateful for that.
It must have been was it a difficult process? Was it a nervy process? How did you pin your hopes on it at any stage, or were you, how were you with it?
I said that it was luckily, but we have been working so hard since the beginning that maybe it is a consequences about because of the effort we are putting on this project. So obviously we have very nervous on the day of the selection day, but we thought that we did it great on the interviews with all the partners. With Lorenzo, who has the better English, as I said to you, he defended very well in the pitching in the questions. So we did a great job, and it was a great day when we got selected.
And the day must have been horrendous from a nervous perspective, right? What was it like when they were reading out the names that had got through?
Well, actually, I was with my brother and with Nacho, our other partner, in an apartment. And when there was a break time before the announcing of the startup name, and we set up our camera on to record us our reaction. So we have it on recorder. I can send it to you by email.
Oh, that would be
it is very funny.
Yeah,
we were
brilliant.
Screaming and jumping, and it is very funny to watch that video.
I would love to use that as a promo. I'm going to use that as a promo. So if you can send it through, that would be fantastic.
I will send it to you. Yeah.
So what have you found from the I think is it how many months has it now been with QST?
It's almost 2 months, right?
I guess. Oh, yeah, we just finished the week. Yeah, the week number 7 we finished, and we are starting the week 8, like on Sunday.
What have you gained from it so far?
Yeah, it's been great because every week we have workshops about specific theme, a specific subject, like investor preparation, pitch designing, like scaling. So it's been very insightful, and very we have been gaining a lot of knowledge from that. And we are right now we're preparing to pitch on the demo day and maybe raise the interest from investors on that day.
Yeah,
this is going to be fantastic for you, because the people that are involved, not just QST, you've got QDB, you've got BN Sports, you've got QSL. I know Ahmed Abbasi, he's a fantastic guy, and they'll be all looking for something along your lines as apps, where they could find somewhere where it could be used here in Qatar.
Absolutely. Actually, we're looking forward to speak with the QSL. Maybe we will have some meetings next week or the other week after this one. So we think that we could benefit the QSL from our application, and maybe do something with the SC and the World Cup 2022. Maybe, I don't know. So, but we definitely see a clear picture to help the QSL on the fan engagement side. So we look forward to speak with them and see how we can work together.
I think it's going to be tremendous for you. And I'm going to come with you again, Lorenzo, and I'm looking at your technologies in the corner of my eye right now. My word, you better know your stuff. React native, JavaScript, jQuery, HTML, CSS, Ajax, Bootstrap, PHP, MySQL, Linux, AWS. Are you a genius or what?
I mean, some people say that. I mean, I've always been a fan of technology. Since I was little, I've always been into computers, building my own computers, programming stuff, hacking stuff. I'm always, doing that kind of stuff. Then I studied for it. And I also believe that there's something going on in the computer science community, or something that I feel a lot of people in my area like to make it obscure. It's not that obscure. Like, if I were to sit with you, I could teach you 3 of those technologies just in an afternoon. You would get the picture, and then you could move on. It's not something as insane as some people believe it is. It's just about the learning curve into getting there. I believe they make it more difficult than it should.
I've got a friend, his name is Stephen Thomas, and I know he's not going to worry about me mentioning his name. He's from his company in San Francisco is called Coil, and he's been in the Bitcoin and money transfer for quite some time. He's
Excellent.
a genius, without a shadow of a doubt. He's a genius.
Yeah.
Do you know?
No, we're also very we're all fans of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Actually, one of our companies in Venezuela is about cryptocurrencies. So we are very familiar with that technology. And Lorenzo is a genius in blockchain and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I'm gonna introduce you, but I remember in the early days he was no more than 19 years old, and he was in London. I met him on the tube station by pure chance, and I'm always the same. I'll always introduce myself to anybody. And he just said that he was a developer from Germany, and I said, for some strange reason, I know that I'm going to be your friend forever. And luckily I have been. But with developers, you were saying, which made me chuckle, it made me think of him, was he was talking, he'd always talk to me about his different lifestyle cycles. So sometimes he was on nights, so he'd been working all the way through the night.
Lorenzo can tell you like a Bible about working at night. So
yeah. I actually love that, because it's something that, especially being an entrepreneur and stuff, during the day, you have so many interruptions, like messages and managing people and doing all that stuff. And when you're doing software development, it's so awesome to just have quiet, like 2 or 3 hours of complete silence in which you can focus on your thing, do your research, fix the bugs, and do everything. So I'm a night owl. I love working at night. I love having that peace of mind. And then during the day, I can, do the meetings, talk to people, manage the teams, schedule what everyone's going to do, and then continue my stuff. So
the challenging part is Lorenzo works on night, but we are 6 hours on differences because it's in New York and we're in Spain. So it is challenging to work it out on calls on that, but we're working great.
But I just, and this is how I can sometimes judge. I'm talking to you guys, and you've just got, I said to you, look, this interview is just let it happen. It's let it natural. And look at you now. I'm watching you, you're smiling, your teeth are showing, you're kind of, I can see from both of you that this is just inside, and it's not so much work, it's just such fun. And tell people how it is important it is that you've got to enjoy what you do.
Yeah, actually, I had an interview yesterday from a friend from Venezuela, and we were talking about this, of enjoying, and how are you happy with your job and with the thing that you're doing. And I said, I recall the day from the selection day from Qatar, that from the Qatar Sport Tech, that was one of the best days of the year, definitely. But I told to him that I even celebrate when a club reply me an email and confirm a call. So, okay, Alejandro, let's have a call on Tuesday, 5 p.m. I got I jump on my desk and celebrate, because those tiny things, and you have to celebrate those tiny and those small goals that you get on the track, on the journey, because those small steps are gonna let you in the final goal, like maybe, I don't know, raise investment and having a successful company, having revenue and that kind of stuff. So I enjoy every little moment and every little goal that we get in the company. So I think that is the key to enjoy the path and the journey. Lorenzo, sorry,
Yeah,
I talk
absolutely.
too much.
And doing what you love is something that, I mean, we work 24 hours a day, and that's something that people hear and feel like you're just, 24 hours of misery, just doing work. No, it's about your mind. Your mind is working 24 hours a day. You're eating and your mind is thinking about the project. You're going I don't know, with family, you went to dinner. It's always in the back of your mind, and anything that comes up, you're ready for it. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, it's a call, your brain is always, okay, this is something important, and that is something that it's not bothering you because it's something that you're passionate about. It's something that you love. If this was like, if your football club was going to the Champions League final and you love that team, it doesn't matter at 2 a.m. what happens, you're ready for it. If your son is going to be born, you're on it. It doesn't matter what happens. If it's when you love something, it doesn't matter at what time it happens, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you're gonna hop on top of it. And we as entrepreneurs, we really love building companies, and we have that mindset of, it doesn't matter what happens, anytime, any day, I'm ready for it. And we love that. And that's something that I think not every person shares, but for us entrepreneurs, we love that, and it's not bothering us. So yeah.
Have you ever worked out your hourly rate yet with all the hours that you put in?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult because as I mentioned, it's not like we don't have, like, we work 5 hours and then it's just all over the place. And then we do this, rest a little bit, do that. It's just.
But it is important to stay healthy. So I try to work out at least 1 hour, 1.5 hours a day, like do some running and some abs and that kind of stuff. So, and eat healthy food. So
I think that's been so important that I've learned through this COVID, is making sure that you look after yourself, making sure that you consider what I know this sounds, and I'm seeing you, the love you've got for this business, and I can see it in your spirit, right? And you look at it and you've got, I want more of it. So I want to make sure that I look after myself. I didn't have that before, maybe, possibly. But now I do. I want to live as long as possible because I enjoy what you're going through, because it's so important to us, right? It's not about the money sometimes, which I know the money is important, but it's just making, as you said, those little things. I wanted to celebrate the other day. I went to go and do online banking. You might think that was so small and minor. It could have been an absolute nightmare, but I went in there. I was with my partner. It was done like a breeze. We went out, we give high fives to one another, and it was just one of those steps in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And you've got to have those, otherwise it's just not worth it.
Yeah, and those tiny things to celebrate are the things that are the entrepreneurship journey, like enjoyable. So like as you asked before, how important it is to have a team, and it is much million times better to have a team, because you have someone to share your thoughts, you have someone to fight and discuss things, and you have someone to celebrate with a goal that you had. So it is much better to have a team than go in a solo journey.
Lorenzo's gonna look up in a minute, and for this question, and he's gonna say development. Okay, which was the most difficult section, or which was a difficult area with your startup? What do you find the most complicated or the most difficult to get over?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's very recent. I mean, in general, and let me go in a bit of a tangent so that I can come back to the question. So in general, when it comes to the development, there are so many technologies out there, but the basics, the fundamentals are what matters. So if you're a good programmer or developer, you might not know 3 programming languages, but you can learn them in a week, and then you can start developing in those languages because you know the underlying thing about what programming is. So a few of those technologies that you mentioned, I just learned them this year. I just hop onto them, start doing that, and just start developing an app with it. So that's a thing that you're able to do and hop on it. But there was one that gave us so much trouble, and we just fixed it last week. And I was so happy. I mean, not last week, like 4 days ago, we finally solved it. But we're making mini games, right? And this mini games inside, we're building it with a technology that's called Unity. And we knew from the start that Unity can be compiled into native Android or iOS applications. That's something that we knew how to do. What we did not know how to do was to, instead of making just a standalone game, which are mostly what people do, to integrate that Unity-based game inside a React Native application. So it turns out that we actually made a mistake in not researching this initially well, and not many people have done it. There's not a lot of thing out there. So, I mean, we went through so much trouble trying to find a way to do that integration. It didn't work. It wasn't working. It was all stressed out. We were asking for mentorships. Those mentorships gave us some guidance, but didn't give us the solution. And so this week was very stressful because, I mean, I was like, wow. I mean, it's been a while since I faced a challenge in which I couldn't, clearly see from the beginning how to solve it, but we eventually solved it. I mean, and it was not, only me, the entire development team, especially Andres from the team, who was the one who implemented and finally got to the solution. I mean, it was beautiful. The technical side of how we came up together to fix it. It was very fun. It was very stressful, but we finally solved it. So I will say that's the answer. The Unity games integrated into React Native is something that was very challenging. And I think what we did, we are hopefully going to be able to, post some issues on GitHub and hopefully help some people out in the future who are going to try to do that. They're hopefully going to use our solution. I
would be giving a high five right now, okay? Because that's just fantastic. What was yours, Alejandro? What was your kind of the biggest hurdles that you faced?
Well, right now I am facing it on the commercial side because I love selling. I love marketing. I love to talk with people to sell our solutions. So right now I'm facing a big challenge on getting to the right person to talk to. So just not to talk with a secretary that maybe doesn't forward the information, a receptionist that, okay, send your email, your presentation to this email. Okay, I'm sending the email, but I don't know if the email got to the right person. So I have to be sure that the information is getting to this key person in the organization. So right now I'm facing that, but I'm sure that we are figuring out ways, and I'm thinking many ways to solve this situation. And right now I'm struggling with that, but I know that we will face it and successfully do it.
I've got something to give to you. There was a cohort that was on the last QST, and it was called Mood Me. Chandra, his name is, and he done the AR, augmented reality.
Oh yeah. And okay.
You could put your faces, even if it was they used AI, and they could see whether it was a lady's face or a man's face, and they could put a face painting on you of your football team, and you could also get a jersey put on. So it was an interaction, specifically the use in these type of apps, I presume. Now, he could be something which I'll share with you afterwards, but he could be a good connection because he's already working with a lot of teams in Europe, and his app could be beneficial because if your two apps could go together, then you've got another interaction from a fan perspective.
Absolutely. Looking forward to speak with. How is what is the name of this person you said?
His name is his name is Chandra. Mood Me.
Yeah. Mood Me. Yeah. I know the startup. I check on the QST website. Awesome.
Lovely guy. Lovely guy. But he's got something special too. So I think with the two of you, there could be something that you could go with. I also know the manager here for the MENA region. I think he covers, which is Fabian. He's another great guy for PSG. And also I know the representative for La Liga here in Qatar. So I'll
Great.
share all those with you because it's all about sharing, right? It's all about those being able to do the high fives, I know, but they're important. It's all important. It's all about sharing.
Absolutely. And to talk to people and see if our solution fits in their needs in the organization, and if it fits, let's do something together. And if it doesn't fit, okay, we can keep in contact and in contact for future. So yeah, absolutely.
Really like it. Now, with a suggestion, a lot of the cohorts that I've been saying, how important, and you did touch on it, Lorenzo, how important is it to make sure you do your market research with all this?
Yeah, I mean, it's crucial, absolutely crucial. If you're going to start anything, the first thing you need to do is market research. And this is what we did initially. Like, we had this great idea, and then when we decided to implement it, the first thing we did was to go out and do some market research and figure out, hey, is this something worthwhile? Is this something that people will considerably want? And after you have some initial data that can point you in the right direction, you might say, okay, this idea is promising, or this idea is good but needs some tweaking, and then you start. But after that, the entire journey is market research. Like, the entire way along the way, like, initially we were more focused on the decisions that fans make, and that is something that we still strive for. But during the journey, we found out that fans want basically fun things to do, games, trivia, show their knowledge, compete with one another. And that was something that initially we thought about having, but not the main thing. And right now it has turned into more of the main thing is that, and on top of that, the decisions and the opinions. So just to see us how things change during the journey, but it all has to start from that. And anything you're going to work on, you need to do your research first.
And how have you found working with the your financials? Was that because a lot of people are going to find the financial side of the business or the setup difficult, right? It's you normally find that companies are developers, then they take the sales, but sometimes they overlook the financials. How important is that with a startup?
Yeah, it is crucial because a startup without cash or with cash problem won't last so much time. So as Lorenzo said earlier, we are at a very diverse team. So my brother is in charge of the financial side. So he has everything set up and every detail, every transaction, and we have our runway set up. So projections. So we know exactly how much money we got in the bank, how are we spending it, on how much in development, how much in content creation, how much in salaries, how much in everything. So we are very careful of that on the financial side. So thankfully we have my brother who's in charge of those things. So yeah, it is very, very important to have that in mind.
And that gives you so much confidence if that's all being taken care of from a developer and from a sales perspective, because they've got that covered. Your back is covered. You can focus on the things that you're best at.
Absolutely. And thankfully, as we told you, we are entrepreneurs and we have other companies. And from the beginning, the funding of the company was self-funded by money of the other companies. So thanks God, we had, well, luckily we had these other companies that are almost fully delegated by the people we had there, and the cash flow we got there, the profit we got from other companies, we could use that cash flow to invest in Fancision. So that is the way we have been funded right now, the application, the startup. Luckily, we got the funding from QST, and now we are running with the money that received from the QST.
That's superb. Please give a shout out to your other founders, your other partners. It would be great to hear from who are they? Who?
Yeah. So right now I'm Alejandro. Here we have Lorenzo. I'm the CEO. Lorenzo is the CTO. We got my brother, which is my twin. So it is the same thing like me, almost the same thing. So he's in charge of the finance, as I said before.
And also part of the gaming creation, exactly.
I'm part of the gaming creation. So right now we are in pre-revenue. So he's in charge of the financial stuff. So we are also creating a lot of content for the application, and he's in charge of that. Also, we got Carlos Heinze, which is our COO, and he's in charge of the operational side, on the hiring process, and also
Legal.
the legal side. Carlos Heinze is working very hard on the legal side, talking with lawyers and all kind of stuff on the lawyer side. So on the legal side, and we have Ricardo Ramirez, which is he's in Venezuela, and he's a sports specialist. So he's helping us very much in the like how a team think and how the managers and the CEO of a team think, and how is the decision making process of the teams work. So we are very, as Lorenzo said, diverse team. We complement each other. So yeah, Alejandro, Lorenzo, Carlos is my brother, Carlos Heinze, which we call him Nacho, and Ricardo. We are all the 5 founders.
I can't wait. I can't wait to. I hope that this you'll be over here soon, because there is still talk that you're going to be coming over soon.
Hopefully.
So it would be magical if we could have a catch up and say hello to each other, because I love you as individuals. Oh my word.
Absolutely. And we also have so much work to do. It is just the starter. This is just started some months ago, and we have to work very hard and provide the clubs with benefits and our application. So yeah.
Very quickly, let's kind of if somebody wants to have a look at what you've done so far, how did they take a look? What's your website?
Yeah, you can go into our website. It's fancision.io. So fancision.io. There you can find, most of the information that we have, but we also have social media. And so can you tell them the handles, Alejandro?
Yeah, absolutely. We are on Instagram and Twitter as Fancision, just like that. And we have a Spanish version, which is Fancision_ES for Español, ES. So yeah, that's where you can find it on social media. And we are on LinkedIn, which we use LinkedIn for more corporate things and updates for the startup. So you can find us on LinkedIn as well.
I'm gonna be posting so much about you, because it'll be we've got it. And also, let me tell you something about, we've got Qatar Sports and Management and Marketing for Qatar. Okay, we've got 17,000 people that's part of that. So make sure you go along. I'll approve you. Go along, apply, ask to join, and we'll get you in there, and we'll start promoting your situation also.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Time's flown by. It's kind of, I hope that was, as we said at the beginning, we just wanted natural. That was brilliant.
Yeah,
It sure was.
I really enjoyed the interview.
I'm gonna finish with 2 things. I want you to give our listeners, give everybody an insight. I'll ask for 2 things that you can give to if there was some advice, 2 bits of advice that you could give to a sports startup, a sports tech startup. What advice would you give them that was just starting out? And we'll start with you, Alejandro.
Yeah, I think is that you have to focus in one thing, in one product at a time. I know we as entrepreneurs want to solve so many problems and so many ideas to solve problems, but we have to be focused like a laser tag. So focus in that thing, explode that thing, and the rest will be history for you. So be focused. That is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Lorenzo?
Yeah, and I would say the team. We are lucky to have already set up a team from the past. We build successful companies together and we trust each other. But if you start a company, you need to have the right teams. Don't just partner with any friend that you have that's not going to do the work, or you don't know he's really an entrepreneur who's going to put in the time. Like save yourself trouble with how can I say, with people who are not going to contribute at the end. Be serious from the beginning and figure the right people who's going to complement the things that you're lacking. And that's something that thankfully we figured out way earlier, and we didn't have to go through that, but we did go through that in previous companies and stuff. And so having the right team and saving yourself some headaches is something that definitely will help you out, speed your startup up.
Have you got any other one, Alejandro?
Well, work hard. So, and also the market research is important, but as a last advice is that if you have an MVP, launch it. So don't wait until have like the most perfect application or the most perfect solution. You have to know if you are solving a real problem, and you have to test it out. So if you have an idea to solve a problem,
Launch.
build the basic thing and test it out. If you are really adding value to some people, some market, the market will tell you. So not an expert, not an advisor, not a mentor. The market is the expert would tell, and it will tell you if you are doing the right job, and then you can start building up and polish stuff. But launch early, and you will figure it out if you are solving a problem.
And there's one more thing. Apply to many accelerator programs. Like, I mean, and it's not about the money, you know, the accelerator programs and the mentorship is what matters the most, because as entrepreneurs, as Alejandro said, we work hard, we go at it. However, not all the time we go at it with the smartest approach. And that's where the mentorships go in. We have had so many breakthrough moments in which a mentor tells us something that, oh my God, how didn't we thought about it? It's like you can take all that, you know, a momentum that you come up with, all that energy you're putting in, and say, okay, if I focus it in this direction, it's going to be much more of a speedy journey. So yeah, mentorships are the key and the most important thing about startup accelerators. Not so much the money. Obviously, the money is important, but not only work hard, but work smart. And mentors help you work smarter. So yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm going to tell you, remember I told you the story about Stefan, and I said to him that I wanted to know him for the rest of my life. Okay, I am 54, so I've kind of, I want to know you both for the rest of my life. And I want to see you do the best you possibly can. It sounds like you've got the determination, the desire. It sounds really good. I'd love to be part of the team. But it sounds like you're going to go from strength to strength. It's been a pleasure talking to you this evening.
The pleasure is ours, and yeah, we hope to meet you soon in person in Qatar. You are in Qatar, right?
Yeah, and I'll invite you around to ours. I've got a swimming pool, so you'll be looked after here. Okay.
Awesome.
That
Great.
sounds awesome, man.
So yeah, as you said, we are very determined, and we have the energy and the passion to do it. And yeah, let's see what happens, but we definitely want it to happen. So we will work hard until it happens.
Perfect. And keep that sofa in New York ready for me, okay?
Absolutely.
Because when all this goes over, New York would be lovely, a lovely place to go.
Yeah,
definitely will.
Right, gents, thank you so much indeed. And everybody for listening, thank you so much for listening. This was brilliant. There were so many good bits of information that I hope you gained from a wonderful group and a wonderful QST. You're fantastic. You give these type of individuals a hope, a platform to go out and sell their technologies. Fantastic. Good on you, QST. And guys, thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thanks to you, Stephen. It was an honor to be with you.
Thank you so much. Everybody, thanks for now. See you next time. Everyone, thank you for listening. Please send us your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And don't forget to review us on your favorite podcast app.